right. I mean, we're just here trying to do our job, correcting people's spelling.
Period, not a comma.
It's ass, not axe. What are you going camping?
If these two mo's had their way, the internet would look like alphabet soup.
It's not ja. It's ha 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 ha. True has an E on it, pal.
Contrary to popular belief, people don't want spelling mistakes in their comment sections.
And now they're talking about getting rid of our unit altogether.
I'm not going to apologize for keeping the internet clean. Hey, I'm going to put a little overtime in on the love and hip hop message board again. On the house, don't clock me.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes being hectored on the internet about spelling and grammar, and this is not helping.
Oh boy, we got one. This guy just typed yo in the chat room.
I always knew I disliked the grammar police for more reasons than one. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ugradowski of wearechange.org. Lots of important information to get into today, as it seems like the corporations and establishment's favorite cause is unraveling right in front of its eyes. All of this on the heels of shocking videos that are pushing the divide and conquer agenda, which of course we're going to be talking about in this video, along of course with all the other information that goes along with the grift that is being pushed and promoted by the U.S. mainstream media. But before we get into that, plus a lot more, the clip that we played in the beginning of this video is just a small segment from a full video from Ryan Long. The link to his channel is, of course, down in the description below. He does really great work and definitely deserves a follow, because he's one of the few people out there who is not afraid to be canceled. As, of course, many people are being canceled as the Western establishment horse stream media keeps cheering on the destruction of free speech and promotes censorship, as, of course, they decry it at the same time when it happens in other countries like India or Russia. And as the propaganda is becoming more transparent by the day, this is all on the heels of the same media establishment finally admitting that they were wrong, with even the Washington Post, New York Times, ABC News, and other large media figures announcing corrections to stories that they tried to politicize and gain political power from. Specifically, the lab leak theory, which, according to Congressman Thomas Macy, he puts this all in context by saying, quote, "If you knew your government used your tax dollars to fund research overseas that developed a sickness that ruined your life for the last year, would that affect your affinity for bigger government?" Then going on and explaining, quote, "That question is the answer to why it's taken so long for the media to cover Wuhan." Now, the government does a lot of crazy things with the huge amounts of money that it takes away from you. Annually, on average, $3.46 trillion, while the government annually prints $6.2 trillion to spend on who knows what other crazy, insane, ridiculous causes that go to foreign governments like the Chinese government, that with the backing of the multinational corporate globalist banking system is becoming more Orwellian by the day. Activists are being disappeared and arrested now, of course, in Hong Kong, with a new policy of, quote, zero tolerance to dissent. The Chinese government also just announced that they are allowing couples to have 3 children. And according to U.S. Senator Rand Paul and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, the research that your tax dollars funded is still continuing in a lab that has all the fingerprints of this sickness. And now, according to former State Department official David Asher, we're getting information that people connected to this laboratory died as early as December 2019 from this sickness. And as we know, from then on, the Chinese government ran a cover-up of what actually happened. The U.S. mainstream media regurgitate Chinese communist talking points on national television and implemented horrible policies because of that have hurt this country extensively. Now, before continuing on with that specific story, we wanted to also announce that the country of Panama just announced that later this year, they are going to be increasing the costs and measures that it takes to get residency in its country. The price is going to be going up 10 times than what it is right now. And if you're looking for more information about that and the possibility of getting a second residency, check out relocatesafe.com. We are officially working with the company that I've been vetting for a very long time. I have heard no complaints about this particular company. Second residencies are always something that I was personally interested in, and this organization seems to be one of the best out there. We're happy to partner with them. And if you're looking to get away from some of the madness that's happening in the Western world, second residencies might be something that you could be interested in. Panama is just one country. There's many other countries out there that provide people just an amazing opportunity to get away from it all. Again, check out the website, relocatesafe.com. The link is down in the description below for more information. Personally, visiting Panama before, I would definitely recommend it, especially over England right now, that just recorded 0 deaths from the sickness today, while the media ran headlines like this, fear-mongering about third waves, at the same time when the UK government is mulling over extending the lockdowns that they promised to end again. Also, the situation in India seems to be dramatically changing, with case numbers dramatically going down after the Indian government implemented a specific policy that we cannot even discuss here. We will be discussing that, plus a lot more, specifically on lukeuncensored.com. Look for the latest video today in our email list. Now, when the U.S. mainstream media is not regurgitating Chinese communist talking points or lying to you, politicizing a sickness for their own personal benefit, if they're not doing that, they're usually busy promoting woke social justice warrior causes like, of course, Black Lives Matter, whose ideology fundraised nearly $10.6 billion within the last few months. And you would think spending all that money on easing racial relations would ease race relations and make them better between people of different colors. And that's absolutely not the case, with, of course, the larger agenda, the divide and conquer agenda, being pushed by these organizations like Black Lives Matter that are connected to Marxist organizations that also advocate for the destruction of the family unit. Destruction of the family unit, which scientifically leads to social decay and crime. But that wasn't an issue for BLM, as they were actively previously promoting the separation of family members from each other. And now, with arguably racial tensions being worse than they were before, with the BLM founder using her new wealth to buy up homes in predominantly white areas, with the promotion of far left and communistic ideas, a lot of people, including those that BLM directly exploited for their own personal benefit, are asking some serious questions, including Tamir Rice's mother and other activists who are accusing the Black Lives Matter founder to, quote, be taking the money and running, as of course we have the latest news from today that Patrice Cullor is stepping down from this movement's foundation, stepping down as the executive director of Black Lives Matter after, of course, facing heavy criticism for her actions. Now, instead of actually taking any personal responsibility, Patrice blamed racism for everything that happened, even though her worst critics were, of course, the people that she was exploiting the most. As, of course, there has been a surge of people in the black community who are critiquing Black Lives Matter more and more, expressing their concerns that this was a grift all along, and that they were swindled here, which I think there's some legitimate criticism here, as even the Los Angeles Times writes in their column, quote, Black Lives Matter has reached the end of an era, as the only explanation we get from the executive director stepping down is that, quote, this is her own words, Patrice's own words, saying, it feels like the time is right. And of course, never answering real concerns from other black activists who want to know what is the foundation doing with $90 million of donations given to them directly. Specifically asking why hasn't more money gone to families who have been affected by police violence? And Patrice's only response to this direct criticism of her is that this is somehow far right-wing white racists attacking her. And that's absolutely nonsensical, as this person previously went on $1 million real estate buying binge and has gained a tremendous personal wealth through book deals, speaking engagements, a contract with Warner Brothers, and other large lucrative corporate deals that are on their knees for this larger divide and conquer agenda. And that's exactly what it is, because that's the direct result of all of this. And anything that predominantly almost all of the multinational corporations, all of the establishment organizations like the CIA, FBI stand behind, like even major big banks like Goldman Sachs. And I'm sorry, when you have the CIA, Goldman Sachs, and Walmart, along, of course, with corporations like BP, those causes, of course, deserve the highest level of scrutiny, and that's something until now Black Lives Matter hasn't ever faced. Even the founder of a Black Lives Matter chapter in St. Paul's is announcing that he is quitting because, quote, he found out the ugly truth about this organization that he says, quote, doesn't care about black people. Now, pushing insane, woke, communistic ideas doesn't really help black people. Pushing racial tensions, fear-mongering, and hate doesn't really help black people. Working with the big banks and corporations that created this huge wealth inequality doesn't really help black people. Trying to destroy family units definitely doesn't help black people. And what are we left here with? Well, videos like this explaining how essentially this was all a big grift, but it wasn't a grift for, of course, all the very powerful people here that used this cause to further an agenda, further the cause of people fighting each other and not truly looking at the root of their problems, whether it's crime statistics, fatherless homes, the lack of economic opportunities, literacy rates, the lack of a real education, inner city gang member violence, the lack of a proper diet. No. Don't talk about any of those issues. The real problems in your life is whitey, as perfectly exemplified by this video going viral right now of armed black militants talking about the need to kill everything white in sight. I'm not joking you. This is a video from Oklahoma that happened on the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, where one of its speakers told the crowd that the ultimate goal of this movement is, again, to kill everyone because of the skin color that they were born with. That skin color, of course, being white. What does this do? Again, fan the flames of racial division, create more insecurity, create more fear, create a paradigm that is tightly controlled and only looks at one another, innocent human beings, as the cause for one's suffering, and not truly looking and examining at the real reasons, at the real causes of any of the human suffering that is only going to be expanding because of this insanity and lunacy that many people choose to look the other way and fail to even acknowledge. If the elites had their way, they would be actively cheering on, supporting, backing, and hoping for a civil war so people don't realize who the true perpetrator of their problems is. And I think you could make an argument that in some way, shape, or form, this is happening already. And it's not just the threat of violence that you have to worry about, it's actual violence that already is happening and is going to be happening at a wider level, which we won't even be hearing about. This, according to my own personal opinion, but if you think I'm wrong in any way, let me know down in the comment section below. But if you agree with this wider message that the elites are pushing us to fight each other more and more, and you want to stop it, the best way to do that is, of course, actively not just sharing this video, but sharing important information, whether it's an article I highlighted here. It's about starting the conversation with the ones closest to you that actively helps deal with this larger situation. There's a reason they're pushing so much propaganda on you. There's a reason they are censoring as much information as they can, and that's because they know the truth could change everything. I truly believe in that. If you believe in that, double click this video, share it with your friends and family members, and because you do, I'm still here. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. This is why. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.